Can I ask you guys to introduce yourselves, please?
Hello, my name is James.
Hello, I'm Jamie.
Hello, I'm Simon.
And together we make
Klaxons.
Cool. How did you guys meet? How did you hit it all up?
Well, we first collectively met at Glastonbury Festival 3 years ago.
So we're going to be going back to the birthplace, back to the water birth this summer.
We could recreate that moment.
How did we kick it all off?
I think, was I lying on my back or was Simon?
I was lying on my back.
You were lying on your back.
And I looked up and
I was
opened my
looking
eyes.
down.
And it was quite a dull day and I was wishing for a bit of sun. And I opened my eyes and there you were with your teeth. And I was
Just looking at that. Where's Simon?
Walked
I think that's the
right
year I
into
got
my
my
life.
tent stolen along with my money and all my possessions.
I had my possessions replaced with wet ham.
I do.
What does the name the Klaxons mean? Where's that from?
I wanted to steal the name Klaxons from a trademark company that made horns, knowing that it meant loud, intrusive noise. So we did that, and no one's said a word about it since.
No, because it says, please let fans know what the band Klaxons coming from.
That's nice.
If you could.
We are
coming from
London.
Coming from the too distant future.
Yeah,
Wicked.
straight
Alright.
into your ears.
The little eye symbol in the triangle, what does that mean? How did you come up with the idea for that?
We were struggling desperately for a logo, and we'd asked some London mateys to
See what they can knock
try
up.
and draw on, and theirs looked absolutely horrific.
It looked like Bauhaus.
It did. It was actually
the Bauhaus logo, the band.
with K in it.
There was one that was as ridiculous as to have a circle that looked like some sort of pharmaceutical, and they'd replaced
It did.
with the letter K, and it's just bizarre.
And then we
Nothing to do with it.
toyed with the idea of using the MySpace logo
We just
or the
replaced
font
in the three heads with our heads.
with our heads.
And we'll have Klaxons, a place for friends. They're quite nice.
Yeah.
And
But then we
didn't work
realised that that's not a very good idea.
And then we were kind of desperately looking for one, and I scribbled that down on a piece of lined paper, and that was it. And then we realised that we shouldn't have really used lined paper because it's really drawn lined
Interrupt
paper.
you.
So then I had to go through a laborious Photoshop, editing out all the lines, and it was also in blue pen. Should have been in black. So then I had to use the fill option on.
Were you
Adobe
responsible for
Photoshop.
having it sometimes when it has a like, black trace around it?
Yeah,
That's your fault.
That's kind of our fault. But there it was. That was it.
Just a moment of inspiration, wasn't it? Just hit you. It's one of those.
It's like when you see people in those classic song videos moving their fingers, and it was another note. Just kind of just move the pen like that.
I was just bringing it back. Would you? Did you write the name and then write the symbol at the same time so they're interconnecting on the piece of paper, or were they?
Yeah, that was
Was
true.
it all on that? Have you still got that piece of
I actually
paper?
have, yeah.
Wonder how much is that would fetch.
Not an awful lot of money
You
as
didn't get
well.
much publishing on that, but they were connected, so you couldn't separate the two.
Jamie then took the joke a little bit too far and
I had
said to
had it
have
tattooed on my
I
arm.
had my handwriting. I've scarred him forever. That's my K on his arm.
I think that's really touching.
I'd be really,
I think that's really
happy
sweet.
with it for the rest of my life.
That's cool.
And it was born.
James Ford, what was it like?
Oh, trouble.
Really like
James
it.
Ford.
He's in a lot of trouble with us.
Riff raff.
I'm in a mood with him.
We're in a mood. We are actually not speaking to him.
Actually, no, I will speak to him. but
We'll
I'm in
speak
a
to
mood.
him, but we'll do this.
I'm not talking to him.
I'll wait for him to speak first.
Yeah.
No, James Ford. James Ford came to us via.
He was quite desperate at that time, wasn't he? He was desperately hanging around bars in London.
We shouldn't be deluded by the current climate with Mr. Ford.
No, he's did a very good job with us.
He's a great.
He was the first person that was suggested that we work with because the person that looks after him suggested him just after being together for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Tried him out, tried out a few other options, and it came down to him being the
I like
easiest to know.
I like what you said the other day when he said that when he saw us, this is after we finished the record, this was only about a month ago, he saw us, he thought we were awful, but he took us down the pub and we had a pint with him and he had fun, so he thought, why not?
We were nice people.
We thought we were nice people, hated our music.
Idiots and try and shape them into something
Then
decent.
kind of like, yeah.
What was the whole experience? So did he produce the whole album?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What it says here? We would like to know highlight of the album.
highlight?
I think the day off when we went to
the cinema.
On a plane.
Snakes on a plane was a great day.
There's some lovely moments deciding like whose turn it was to drive to the shop in the car.
Yeah.
It's fun.
There were some amazing moments around a pool table, which was there. Every night we had a pool competition, and I always won, which was really good.
It's incredible moments finding out that James Ford was a lot better at basketball than the rest.
He was great, yeah.
He was very good.
He can really shoot
There's
hoops.
more kind of like après recording parts that were just exciting. And the dinner was great.
Dinner was really
Dinner was
good.
incredible.
I slept better than I've ever slept in my life, I think, as well.
Comfortable in the
It was
cabin.
comfortable in a cabin.
It kind of felt like, because we're in the middle of nowhere, in this kind of big barn, it kind of felt like we're the only men on earth. You know, we didn't see anyone for a few weeks, and we just kind of sat around this big grand table, and there was a lot of quiet, and it was lovely.
It was really
very
nice.
kind of tranquil.
And then that studio's gone now.
Has
I think
it?
It's gone? Yeah, it's gone. So said that the guy who was running it, there was that Porter studio that he was building. He was building this
He's
studio.
put it all
He
in
had
there.
this big idea.
He's driven off.
of putting the whole studio in a lorry and driving off
It
around
was a
France.
spaceship.
We couldn't have recorded it in the lorry. We couldn't have all
Couldn't all fit in the lorry. But
Squeeze in.
big idea.
Yeah, we just-
He can.
He's just
He's
off.
trying
He's done
it.
it.
Good on him.
50 Cent's got that. He's got another trailer
Yeah.
that he just has the recording studio, so he drives around and he can just.
Where
drive
is
in the
his
back.
next
That'll
album?
be 50. He's spending too much time in the accounts office.
Alright, it says your first single, Magic, has a slightly
Japan.
different sound. It says more indie sound to the rest of it. Is that to the rest of the album? Was that conscious?
I wouldn't say it's a very indie sounding.
I think Magic's quite nasty. I think it's quite-
Totem's more indie.
I think it sounds a bit sort of tribal. Magic.
Tribal carnival.
We thought it was a bit of a dark carnival song.
I think when we finished that, the first place I wanted to hear it was on like a roller coaster or something. It seemed like the most fitting place to hear it was
Yeah.
sticking to a wall or something.
We finished the song Magic in the last 10 seconds of having to do it. People wanted to come and hear it, and we hadn't
Finish the vocal.
finished the song. And they came to hear it, and we said, "Could you just give us another 10 seconds?" And they went away, and they came back, and there it
I
was.
think we did the vocal takes on it without each other hearing them. So the first
Yeah.
time we collectively heard the whole song was in front of people that were there to hear
There
us,
to hear it.
to hear the song.
We were kind of pleasantly surprised. She sounded alright.
It literally until 10 minutes before we finished it wasn't really a song, was it?
No.
It's right. I'm going to read this out so you can share this with me. We have experienced the great world retro future, which is not related to reality.
Yeah.
More like escaping through it through your album.
Oh,
Hi.
Ah.
I like it.
What do you see beyond escape and pleasure? What is the theme of the album?
That's really nice.
That is nice.
Beyond escape and beyond pleasure.
I don't think the album was
I'm
about.
trying to sum it up.
No, that sounds about right. I don't know. I think the general theme of the record was kind of nowhere. Like we didn't want to. We didn't want to. There were a lot of records about that were singing songs about being from a particular place, and I think that our first thought and place was to make a record about absolutely nowhere, so that it could have a universal relation to nothing.
It's kind of strange though, after you end up playing those songs every night around the world, that actually
Starts to
becomes
make
kind of
sense.
reality. That's that kind of non-real places where we kind of live now.
Do you think any of the records about pleasure?
Depends what kind of pleasure.
I don't know. I don't think
I don't
the
know.
records about pleasure.
I think
I
it's
think
kind
it
of,
gives. I think it gives us.
Gives
pleasure.
us gives people pleasure.
It's more kind of
It's pleasurable. It gives us pleasure.
it's kind of more revelled in something than pleasure.
It's kind of more suggestive than actually reaching the goal, isn't it?
I quite like we've been talking about the second record a little bit. It was the idea of doing a comedy record based around a baseball team.
Like a concept comedy album.
What was the title? We got it the other day. We were walking down the street and we just kept laughing. It was something had flute in it. Baseball flute.
The magical flute.
The magic, wasn't it called? It had a ring to it, definitely.
The nose flute.
I think it was something like Nose Flute Diaries or something.
Just like Red Shoe Diaries.
Red Shoe Diaries.
Could you let us know the worldview, or where your worldview for your lyrics and the vision?
Scientific makes me think.
Yeah,
of
I
science
don't
class.
think that we've got very many scientific lyrics. I think that our lyrics are based around like the enjoyment of the sounding of the words, and I think that a lot of our lyrics are about
pronunciation.
yeah, and just and sort of sitting on top of something that we've already got the idea for, and the piecing together of nonsense for our own amusement. I don't think that, like. It's not very scientific. It's quite. I don't know.
I think it's quite like it's like pictures and images.
It's like child's English class.
Yeah.
It's like being put the word over this,
And it
which
sounds
one
good.
fits.
Yeah.
And then just we're in that situation where we just talk a lot of crap with each other, and like somebody says something and somebody says something else, and then it sits on top.
The artwork for your album, you came up with a sort of cut and paste sort of style. How did you come up with that?
I think it's just like the artwork, which I've always really liked for albums, has been something which kind of describes what's inside and something which kind of makes sense when you listen to it. And I think that I've been a big fan of all of the stuff, like all of the New York bands have Black Dice and Gang Gang Dance, they've got kind of these amazing collages that parts of them are kind of recognisable and parts of them are kind of put together and build these kind of weird landscapes. And it's kind of describing what's inside.
Cool. Did you each sort of design a different part of it, or
We did 2 covers which me and Jamie did.
It's been a while since releasing Myths of the Near Future.
Yeah, it's actually been a bit of a while.
3 months, 4 months.
January,
February, March,
5
April, May.
June,
June.
4 months.
Almost 5 months.
No, it came out 27th of January, didn't it?
It's a little while.
February, March, April.
The world's mood has changed since then.
Yeah.
Really?
Really?
Jesus! No one told us. Who told me?
It's true. It's in writing. Could you tell us your mindset these days?
Jeez, that's massive.
Our mindsets.
I've not been aware that the world's mood's changed since we released our album.
I don't know. We changed.
I think we've
everyone-
slowly moved further into abstraction.
Yeah, we've been just itching. More. It makes a bit more sense though. I think we're starting to make a bit more sense lately than we did in the beginning. We started talking absolute nonsense to have it make sense, and then over a period of time.
We talked a lot of crap
I
for
don't know
a
if that
long,
means
long
that
time, didn't we?
because we've been revelling in crap, that now that the real world probably is
It's crap.
nonsense.
Does that mean that the world's mood has changed anymore
I
towards?
tell you what we do realise,
nonsense?
everyone's lost it but us. That's one thing that every day we realise.
You know, when people become deluded and they think that everyone else is wrong and they're right. We're getting
We're
to that
getting to that stage.
Even if the world new rave has become obsolete, you are pioneers of the epoch.
Epoch. Nice.
E-pop or epoch? Epoch.
Cheers.
Massive on the scene.
So we would like to know what interests you and what is new to you.
Kind of being in a band's quite new to us.
It interests us. It interests us.
I think generally, like waking up and seeing a different part of the world is interesting and new.
Yeah.
It's very new to us.
I think every day is pretty new
It really is.
and pretty interesting. Very interesting.
What have you been doing since releasing the album?
Just be sat at home, just chilling out, feet up.
Sit back, see how it goes.
Taking it easy.
I'm learning how to make cheese in my ranch.
Yeah. Learn to ride
Riding
horses.
Growing vegetables.
Settling down with the kids.
We've been
We've been on tour constantly since the day the record
been
came
playing
out.
the same set every night for the last 3 or 4 months.
3 or 4 months.
Everything changes. Nothing changes apart from where we are.
Yeah, and I tell you what does change. Every now and then, though, we do have a good night, a really, really good night.
We did.
Like Norwich, we said this Norwich the other day. We came off stage and we looked at each other and we said that literally was the best gig we've ever played. It was a moment, wasn't it?
My thing about Norwich is there were people raised on the side slightly. It looked a bit like you were a theatre or something.
It did,
bowl.
didn't it? Yeah.
The people in these kind of like floating wings.
And our sound guy said he just sat there watching, which is quite worrying, really,
Might
because he
be an
should be
idea for the
worried.
future. If
Yeah.
our gigs are to be any better, he could
He
just
sat there and watch. Yeah, paying him to watch.
What will the
Don't pay.
the Japanese band? What will they experience in your gig?
I think it was more what we experienced from them.
Yeah,
It was just
absolutely.
this kind of incredibly humble.
The
Peaceful
last time we
place
played
to work.
Japan, I cried on stage. I couldn't take it. It was just like, just that excitement and genuine like being involved and involvement and frenzy, and then all of a sudden just complete respect and silence.
It had I think the whole of Japan kind of, it just had this incredibly kind of tranquil kind of feeling to it. The minute as we flew into Tokyo, it had this kind of
mist
air of the light there was something we've never seen anywhere before. It was this kind of incredible glow. I think that talking about like the album and where it sits, it kind of definitely felt at home in Japan.
I even started actually glowing at one point when I was in Japan.
That's because of that dodgy suntan you had.
Yeah.
Got burnt on the beach.
I feel really embarrassed that every press shot in Japan is me with a red face and you two looking great.
That's what Australia does to you, mate.
It's Australia.
Could you explain where the ideas are coming from?
All of our videos are thanks to...
That's really cool, isn't it?
That is nice.
Really enjoying this. We haven't done interviews in ages, have we?
No, we haven't been interviewed in ages.
Good to be back.
Can't go by this. Everyone else.
Sorry about this.
Alright.
Yeah, I mean, we can't really take any of the credit for our videos. It's all thanks to our director, Sam Faramand. The lad's just has got some incredible ideas floating around in his mind that he manages to put down on paper and then translate very well to screen.
Sometimes he wonders, and we have to get the kind of the rod and just reel him in a little bit.
I feel sorry for him because he's been making this Soul Wax DVD for about 4 years now. Which is going to be...
It's going to be epic.
It's going to be epic.
It's going to be like Lord of the Rings with the band in it.
3 parts.
Claude of the Rings.
Steve of the Rings. Steve of the Rings.
It says here, the Summer Sonic Festival.
Yes. Summer Sonic.
Is there a message for the fans?
We cannot.
Very
Right.
much looking forward to playing Summer Sonic Festival.
Yeah. In the dance tent with Maximo Park.
I should probably apologise for that message that I think we sent on the video camera that involved us like getting into a taxi.
Yeah.
It was pretty.
I think that was alright, wasn't it? I never saw that back. Was that okay?
I don't think I saw it back. I don't think anyone...
I
I thought you did you not see
No,
that?
I did see a bit of it.
Was it alright?
That was just great. I think we just...
we were in Seattle
and we just kind of
we
waved.
said, "Woo,
Bye Japan, see you
coming to
soon.
Summer Sonic. And
It's a really eclectic lineup this
Avril
year.
Lavigne.
Avril Lavigne, Black Eyed Peas,
Maximo Park headlining the dance tent.
Klaxons,
supporting. Just give me a kick.
supporting. Who else is there?
Some of it.
Shania Twain or something. It's a big one.
Some of the biggie.
Yeah, but
It's going to be great.
it'd be good to go back to Tokyo and also, is it Osaka we're going to? Osaka. Can't wait.
Cool. And what will everyone expect for the next album?
Well,
The next album changes on a day-to-day
Yeah.
basis at the moment. We were thinking about a concept album about cheese yesterday.
there's that baseball one about
Baseball
the
and
Denver
Dream.
Rockies.
Prog Doom album.
Comedy album.
Comedy album. We were thinking if we could properly incorporate comedy with music,
Comedy with prog.
with
Progressive-
cheese,
With cheese and politics.
with Dr. Dre on production, then
A political concept album about a baseball team and a
A
note
com-
flute.
And then, yeah.
we're not sure, to be
Well,
honest
yeah.
with you.
Like it.
Full of contradictions.
Yeah.
Full of contradictions, faster and slow at the same
Yeah.
time, louder and quieter.
Better and worse. Not worse.
It's not gonna be any worse.
Not after today, really can't be.